Hello everyone, Andre here with Call Sign Charlie Models, and it's time for yet another in-box review. And today we have the HK Models 1/32 scale B-25J Mitchell Glass Nose over MTO. We've done a few other B-25s from HK Models on this channel, and we do know that they're going to be absolutely gorgeous. There are a few ejector pin marks in certain areas, but those shouldn't be too bad to take care of. But going on with this kit, the box art, as typical, absolutely lovely on the top. We have a total number of parts of 543. The wingspan of this kit is going to be 643 millimeters with a length of 547.7 millimeters. Alright, so we're going on to the side of the box right here, and we have some nice CAD images of the built model right here. We have a full detailed engine, the rear tail gunners section right here, and then the front section with the bomb bay and the flight deck, and then again another picture with the nose section right here, and it's going to be glass, so you're going to be able to see all of that up there. Then on the other side we have two decal options right here. We have one from the 447th Bomber Squadron, 321st Bomber Group, Italy, late spring of 1945. And then we have another one from the 380th Bomber Squadron, 310th Bomber Group, Corsica, summer of 1944, right there. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this box opened up. We're going to get everything set up, and then we can start going through the instructions, the decals, and all the plastic. And as we open this box, we are absolutely jammed packed with plastic. So I'm going to get everything set up, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so we're starting off with the instruction, and again we have an absolutely massive booklet right here from HK Models with the instructions. On the front we have a repeat of the box art on the front in black and white, and then we have a history of the B-25J Mitchell right here, and then we have the legend of symbols that we're going to be using throughout the instructions. So we open it up, and we're starting again straight off with the I think this top turret gunner right here, and then we're working on the flight deck, getting our throttle quadrant in and a few other detail pieces to the flight deck right there. Then after that we're getting our pilot and co-pilot seats in with our control yokes. We do have photo etch seat belts as well in this kit. And then after that we're moving on to our bombs and our bomb bay right here. Again, working on more detail parts on the bomb bay. We have a little bit of hosing to go in there, and then we have our bombs on our bomb racks. Getting all that attached, we have our sidewalls, our ceiling, and our two forward and aft bulkhead going on. And we have a few pieces to go onto one of our bulkheads right there, or actually both of our bulkheads have a few detail pieces to go on. After that's done, we're starting to work on the interior of our fuselage halves. We have our gun and our ammo belt right here to go in, and a few other pieces to attach to the gun right there. Then a couple of radio panels and all that to go into the forward cockpit section, and an ammo box right there. We do need to paint certain areas of this, so because you will be able to see inside of here. And again, just repeating for the other side as well. So after that's all done, we're getting our flight deck in with our top turret gunner section in, our bomb bay and our tail gunner in, and we have some long ammo belts to go into that as well. It just has us adding in this instrument panel right here along with our aft bulkhead for our cockpit, and then after that we're adding some glass work for our midship blisters right there. After that's all done, we're starting to work on our tailplane, getting our tailplane assembled with our horizontal and vertical stabilizers along with our elevators and rudders right there. After that's all done, we are getting the tailplane attached to the fuselage, and then our glass work for our cockpit, our top turret, and also the tail gunner section, and we have the canvas bag for the tail gunner as well. And it has you putting together the pieces for the top turret right there. After that's all done, we're adding in our bomb bay doors and our boarding ladder right there, fore and aft. And then we have some armor pieces to go on here. And then we have the option of having the bomb bay doors closed and the landing gear doors closed for the in-flight version. After that's done, we are starting to work on our engines, and there's a lot of detail that goes into these engines, so when they're done, they're going to look absolutely gorgeous. So you're seeing adding all the hosing and cabling and all that. You might want to go through and add your spark plug wires. I can't tell if these are supposed to be spark plug wires or just regular wires, but we'll have to see about that. They kind of do look like spark plug wires in the image right here. Alright, so moving on, we're adding some more parts to our engines, getting all that done, and then we have some more push rod cover assemblies going on there, getting all that done, and then we have the front and back views for that. After that's all done, we're getting our engine cowls and our engine attached to that. Then after that, we have our engine cowling, our nozzle covers right going on there, and then we have our exhaust stacks going on. After that's all done, we're working on our propellers, getting our propeller on, and then we are assembling our wings, getting our, looks like our starboard wing right here, and we're adding in our flaps and our ailerons, and then landing lights and a couple other parts to go onto that wing. Then moving on, we're working on the engine nozzles, getting that done along with our main landing gear section. Looks like we're going to have to attach the main landing gear if we're doing it down. Looks like we're going to have to attach that prior to completion. So this is basically going to slip over your main landing gear. And then you also have the option to do it with the gear up right here. And then after that, we're just repeating for the other wing, doing all the same things. We might have one extra little glass piece to go in there, but everything else looks to be about the same on that. So after that's all done, we're starting to work on our nose section. With this being a glass nose, you will be able to actually see everything in here. So nice way to detail all this up. Definitely going to want to take your time on this, getting this all done. Then we have our gun barrels going in after that, along with our glass work, our ammo cans and our ammo belt going there, and then again with our forward glass nose. Then after that's all done, we're attaching our wings and the flaps to the fuselage, getting all that done, and then also the glass nose section also going onto the fuselage. And then we also have the option for in-flight and on the ground as well. So after that's all done, we have our sprue callouts with all the sprues going on that we are about to see. Again, a lot of sprues. Then we have our decal sheet right here. And then we have our decal placement and our color callouts right through there. And it has AK Interactive, Tamiya, and Goons Mr. Hobby as your colors on your callout right here. Again, some nice nose art right there in the aluminum form. Don't know which one I'm going to do. And again, on this one with the olive drab over gray, I'm really liking this one. I really do like the olive drab over gray. And then again with the nose art up front with all the bombing missions that this aircraft completed. Then after that, we have on the back page, we have the color guide listing all the colors needed throughout the build from AK Interactive, Tamiya, and Goons Mr. Hobby. Then another nice touch from HK Models is this nice little poster that you get in the kit. Again, like the other B-25s, you can put a frame around this and put it onto your wall. It's a nice poster quality paper, photo quality. It looks like an actual picture on here. It has the HK model. That's the only downside to it, is the HK Models emblem in the top corner. But everything else does look very nice. I think with this one, because this is the one of the decal options, I think I might do this olive drab over gray, so I can have that along with this poster on the wall. I think that'll look really, really nice. Alright, so moving on to our decals. Decals do look nice. They are kind of a glossy finish on top of them, and the nose are, the one for the olive drab over gray, the nose on this one actually looks really, really good. Cover up the nudity right there, but the face is actually really, really nice compared to some of the others. Kind of like on the bottom one right here, you can see it kind of looks a little bit cartoonish to me, a little too cartoonish. I know they were all like hand painted on, but I mean, it just, the top one does look a lot better than the bottom one, so I'll definitely be going with the MMR one for the paint scheme I do on this one. Now the stars and bars, they do look rather nice. You don't have many stencils on here. You just have the stencils for the bombs, the propellers, and then a couple other along here. So I might have to look and see if there's some decal, like aftermarket decal sheets, to include all the stencils on there. And also maybe some mask for the stars and bars to actually paint those on instead. Alright, starting off with our clear parts, we have a nice little plastic that's helping protect the clear parts from getting scraped up or dinged or anything like that. And from what I can see, all the clear parts do look absolutely crystal clear with no issues on that. These are going to be absolutely gorgeous when they're all painted up with the framing and all that. Okay, again, moving on to another sprue of clear parts. These look absolutely amazing for clear parts on the side windows right here for your gunners, and then your turrets absolutely look amazing on that. I don't want to pull off this tape because I'm afraid that if I do, it's not going to stick as well as what it is right now, but it is nice and protecting the clear parts. You can kind of see from the underside how clear these actually are, and they are probably some of the best clear parts I've ever seen in a model kit. So again, very nice. A couple of these are the wing glass parts for the lights right here, and then you have this 3-bar light right here that goes in the wing as well, if I can get it on the camera. Okay, and then after that we have our engine cowl. We get 2 of these. We have the framing right here, and you're going to cut out this part right here. But again, very nice. There's not much detail to it, but the cowl flaps are all separated, so that's a nice detail to that. So these are looking very nice, and you're going to have your engine inside of here. You can have the option of having all the cowls hatches off and show off all that work on the engine that you're going to do, which is absolutely going to look amazing when it's all done. Okay, moving on, we have another double sprue right here, and this is our pilot seats right here, and then our wheels going on with our wheel hubs right there. And these do look fairly nice. The bomb racks also do look very nice right here. So again, very nice. And we even have like the canvas bag detail on the control sticks right there. The tread does look okay, but with the wheels being in 2 pieces, it is going to be an absolute nightmare to try to remove that seam line and not lose any of the tread detail. So that is one thing that I'm looking at probably getting, is the Brazen wheels for this set. Just for that reason alone, is so I don't lose any of the beautiful tread detail that we have here. But again, all the other detail on here does look very, very nice. Okay, so moving forward, we have the canvas for our tail turret right here. Again, very nice molded detail right there. It's going to actually look like it's like fabric covering over it when it's all painted. That's going to look really nice. Get a little bit of paint and a little wash, and then do a little oil highlights, and that's going to look absolutely amazing. For everything else, the ammo box right here looks okay. The guns actually do look very nice for the detail of the main body of the gun. Our throttle quadrant, again, looks okay for detail. You do have some lines to put in some of the throttle levers right here. And then we have our ammo belts right along here. This is the ones for the tail section, and those are nice and detailed in there. You get a nice brass kind of paint in there, and then wash it so you have the individual bullets showing. That will be really nice. But with that being said, this one you won't be able to see. Now these, on the other hand, you will most likely be able to see. They're either in the mid section or up in the nose, and those the mid section will be a little bit more difficult to see, but the nose one you will definitely be able to see. Then up next we have our landing gear. Again, the landing gear looks okay. I'm kind of worried about the strength of it because of how big this kit is. It does feel like it is kind of a thick plastic, but I'm not taking much, and I kind of do feel it flexing a little bit. So that is one kind of worry that I have on this kit. Now the wheel hubs right here, they do look very nice on that. The nose landing gear again looks pretty nice, and the other thing with it being a glass nose is I have no idea where I am going to put the weight in this kit to make sure it's not a tail sitter on that. But the wheels, again, nice detail, nice tread detail, but getting the two halves together and then getting rid of that seam is going to be an absolute nightmare when you're trying not to lose any of that tread detail on there. So definitely going to have to figure that out. Either get resin tires or have some fun with the diamond tread on here. Alright, then up next we have a sprue with our gun blisters, which I don't recall. No, we do not use these gun blisters for this kit right here, but we do have a few other antennas and lumps and bumps to go onto the fuselage right here. Okay, up next we have looks like our forward section right here. The forward section of the fuselage, again, very, very nice and fine rivets. There are actually raised rivets on this forward section right here, which is actually, alright, so they're supposed to be recessed rivets, but it's like somebody took their riveter over it and then didn't clean up afterwards. So definitely going to need to re-rivet all of that on this kit, because that is one downside of it. Now the panel lines on here, they do feel nice and thin and to scale. No real issues with any of that. But the one issue I'm having is with the rivets on this forward piece right here. They look very nice, and they should be a nice starting point that if you want to grab your riveter out, which I don't know where mine is right now, but it should give you a good guideline on where all to rivet. And then moving on with these guns, again, the guns do look very nice, and we have a little bit of radio equipment right here. And then the flight deck, the ammo belts, again, look very nice, and get that painted up and washed up. That's going to look absolutely brilliant when it's all done, because you are going to be able to see these with that giant glass nose on the front. So, and then you have your ammo cans right here. Going off to the other side, we do have some ejector pin marks on the underside of the ammo belts. Not sure on if you're going to be able to see this side of the ammo belt, but you might want to pay close attention just in case and take care of those if you are able to see those. For the flight deck, no worries with any of that. And then we're going to have the forward deck, not any worries with any of that. And then again, this piece is going to be covering up down here. And on the sides there are no ejector pin marks. There are a little bit of a framing detail to go in there, but again, all these boxes and everything is going to cover all of that up. Alright, so up next we have our engine sprues, and the engines, the detail on them, the cooling fins do seem a little thin, but with that being said, all the other detail that's going to be going onto the engines, you're really not going to be able to tell when everything is said and done. You have your exhaust pipes right here, then more piping right in here, and your propellers right there as well. And then your engine cowl cover, again, the rivet detail on here is very, very fine. Should take a wash nicely. It's not over exaggerated on the rivet detail on that. So again, nice touch on that. I'm not seeing any other issues with the engines. It should really build up to be very, very nice and get some panel lining in here, and it's going to look absolutely amazing when it's all done. And show it off with those open engine cowls. Alright, so moving on, we have more. These are all going to be common sprues between all the B-25s, I think. So we have our flight deck, our bomb bay, some bulkheads right here, and our bomb bay doors. Again, the bomb bay doors, very nice rivet detail on those, as you can see. And then you're going on the inside, you're going to have these plates right here, pre-drilled out. So those are going to look very nice when they're on the other piece. We're going to flip it over here in a second. But the instrument panel, so the instrument panel is a little bit generic for my opinion. Definitely going to look into getting some 3D printed decals for that, just to kind of liven that up a little bit, because even with the decals that you're going to have, it's just going to be a little bit too bland in my opinion, especially with how big that canopy glass is, or cockpit glass is, and how much of it you're going to be able to see. Definitely going to want, especially on this part, on the interior, definitely going to want to liven that up. And then we flip it over to the other side. Much of this you're not going to be able to see. Like right here, we do have a mold line going right down the middle, right here. But again, a quick run with your hobby knife and that should be taken care of right there. Then on the inside of the bomb bay doors, okay, we do have some ejector pin marks, but with that being said, these pieces right here are going to go over that, so you're not going to be able to see any of those ejector pin marks anyways. So not much to worry about on this sprue right here, minus the mold seam going down the middle of that piece, which again is going to be a very easy cleanup. Alright, moving right along, we have our tailplane sprue. Alright, so moving right along, we have all of our rivet detail on here, hoping that the camera will pick that up. And there we go. As you can see, absolutely exquisite rivet detail on that tailplane right there on the upper or bottom side, and then the same thing for the upper side as well. Absolutely amazing on the rivet detail through there. It's going to look really, really nice when you get a wash in there and get it all painted up. And then our elevators and our rudders, again, very nice, and even has kind of a fabric type feel to it, kind of like inside the ribs, where it's kind of drooping in there. So again, nice rivet detail, nice fabric detail on there. It's really going to look really nice when it's all painted up and all done. Just take your time while doing it. Alright, up next we have our wing sprues, and we have two of these sprues identical, and again the same as with our tailplane, the rivet detail and the panel lines on here nice and crisp going all the way through. Again, and you look on like this section, all the rivets that are on there, that absolutely is going to look amazing when it's all done. Absolutely, I am thoroughly impressed by the rivet detail on here, and the same thing with the fabric detail on your ailerons right here, and our flaps again have absolutely amazing rivet and panel line detail on there as well. So again, very nice detail on this sprue, and we get two of these, and they're going to look very nice on the fuselage when it is all painted up. Okay, up next we have some more engine detail parts, and we get 4 of these sprues. We have our rocker arms right here, and then it looks like our spark plug wires right here, and then some exhaust cabling, our rocker covers going on right through there, and then some more spark plug wires right there. So again, very nice. When you get this all built up and all painted up, it's going to be a shame to cover up at least one of the engines if you're going to do it. So because for me, what I'll probably do is I'll probably have one engine cowl off and then one on, just to show the difference of the engine cowls. But again, absolutely amazing detail on that. Alright, so up next we have our engine nozzles and our landing gear area, and again, same thing with the rivet detail on these. Absolutely amazing. We do have a little bit of flash on the edge of this piece right here, but again, very light, should be very easy to take care of. We have our firewalls for our engines. The intakes right here are not, they're cut back maybe a millimeter, maybe two. Definitely look at possibly drilling that out just to give that that feel of the full intake effect on that. So that's one thing that I'm going to look into doing scratch wise on that. But everything else on here does look very nice. For the inside of the landing gear doors, we do have a couple ejector pin marks right along on the corners of it, but they are very small and they should be very easy to take care of on that. Then everything else you will not be able to see. You will not be able to see inside of these engine nozzles right here, because you're going to have landing gear in and the opening to it is so small. So again, very nice detail on that piece as well. Alright, so up next we have our bombs and then our gun barrels. So the bombs, they do look okay. The fins look relatively thin enough. Plus they're going to be tucked up in the bomb bay, so really you're not going to be able to see much of them. And they do have the fuses right here, and that's some nice blade detail on that. Now when it comes to the guns, alright, so I think this is one of the major weak points for the kit right here. Just the detail on the barrels seems a little bit lacking. The barrels, the tips of the barrels are hollowed out, drilled out, kinda. But again, that's another thing I might look into getting for aftermarket, is the some metal gun barrels, just for the detail wise and also strength wise on that. So everything else on here does look okay for the bombs, and we get 3 of those sprues as well. Alright, so up next we have our engine cowl covers. On the top side, again, nice rivet detail on the outer edges of it, and these exhaust pipes, or whatever you want to call them right here, they are nice and hollowed out, so that is a nice effect to that. So again, nice on that. And then we flip it over to the other side, and here's where I'm running into a tad bit of an issue, is we do have 2 kind of large ejector pin marks on each one. They should be easy to fill with putty and sand down, but again, going to take a little bit of work to get those taken care of if you want to leave them off, like in a diorama where they're sitting on the ground. You can take care of that if you're going to have it with this side up. If not, just put them on the downside and no issue with any of that. You also get a photo etch fret with our seat belts, and then a couple pieces for the wings right here. And I'm not sure what this piece is for. With the seat belts, I might look into getting some fabric seat belts, or if Quinta Studios has their interior set, they'll have some 3D printed seat belts in that kit. But again, I'm not a fan of photo etch seat belts. But yeah, you do have them, and there's a little bit of buckle detail on there. But again, I think with either the HGW fabric seat belts or the Quinta Studios 3D printed seat belts, I think those are going to be the route to go for this. Alright, and on to our last sprue. Alright, so zooming out, this is actually pretty big for a fuselage right here. and we're still leaving off the nose section, which is about that long. Zoom out a little bit more, so probably add on another few inches right here, and then the tail gun right here. So you're looking probably at about 24-25 inches, or whatever 547.7 millimeters is. So that will give you a rough taste of how big this kit is. Putting it next to a Windex bottle right here will also show you how big this kit is. Alright, and then moving on to the detail of this, again with the rivet and panel line details, absolutely top notch right here. Absolutely superb detail, moving right along. This is going to look absolutely amazing when you paint it and weather it and do all the work to it. It's going to look absolutely astonishing. I'm really looking forward to building this one. I wish that you guys could post pictures of your builds on my comments. Maybe someday YouTube will make it that way. But again, all the rivets and all the detail on the outside. Then on the inside, we do have a little bit of detail in the cockpit section right here, but we do have a few ejector pin marks on here. But I'm not sure on how much of that you're going to be able to see. On the inside of the bomb bay, there's no detail, but you do have the walls that go around. On the aft section, alright, we have, if you want to call it framing detail, we have that there, but we also do have a few ejector pin marks on there. So definitely if you want to make that, you can liven that up a little bit with just some plastic art to add in some framing, and maybe even some cables going back and forth, so if you do look through the window, especially with the windows being that clear, you will be able to see inside of here. So definitely going to want to take some work into that as well. But again, on the outside, the rivet detail and the panel lines on here, absolutely top notch. They're just the right size, the right depth. Everything is just absolutely gorgeous about it. Alright, so that does it for the HK Models 132nd B-25J, the glass nose over MTO. And I can say this kit, absolutely outstanding. The detail on the exterior looks absolutely amazing. The engines, when they are all done, are going to look absolutely amazing as well. So exterior detail wise, top notch coming to this kit, except for the bottom nose section. That is one section that I'm kind of miffed about. The detail looks like it's there, but it's not there. Just going to take a little bit of extra work to get that on, and hopefully it fits good on that. I know like on the B-17 there is a little bit of a fit issue with some of the fuselage parts coming together, but hopefully that part fits okay. As for other parts, I think with the landing gear, I think I might go with the metal landing gear option with this, and also the brazen wheels as well, just because I don't want to have to worry about losing any of that diamond tread that's on the wheels where I'm getting the two halves together. But the kit parts do look very nice as well. Other aftermarket, probably metal gun barrels. The gun barrels in the kit are probably the weakest part of the entire kit, in my opinion. And then the front instrument panel. Again, I might, if I can find Quinta Studios, the 3D printed interior stuff, I'll definitely be getting that for this kit, especially with how visible it is on the front cockpit and in the nose section as well. But other than that, I think the rest of the kit looks very, very nice. It's going to build up, hopefully very nice. It all depends. One thing about kits is they can look absolutely amazing in the detail, but if the fit fights you every step of the way and it just makes you want to throw the thing into a wall, it doesn't make it for a fun build. So that's one thing I always worry about with these kits. Sometimes the detail on them absolutely looks amazing, but when you go to build them, they fight you every single step of the way. But with HK Models, I know for a fact I've built a few of their B-17s before in the past, and I know they do go together fairly well with just a few fit issues on that. But again, I'm really looking forward to this one. The nose art for the MMR looked absolutely amazing. The other one, I'm kind of iffy about, but that's besides the fact. But yeah, that does it for this kit, and I hope if you're watching this and you're on the fence about getting this one or any of the other B-25s, I hope this helped you, swayed you in either direction or not. The majority of the plastic in this kit is the same as all the other B-25s. If you have any questions about the other B-25s, I know I have 2 other inbox reviews from B-25s in my inbox review playlist, so head on over there and check those out. But again, I think I'm really happy that I have these B-25s because they look absolutely amazing, and they're really the only 1/32 game in town, I believe. Maybe Revell has one out, but I'm not sure, and we know this is going to be 100 times better than a Revell kit. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget, if you haven't yet, to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications of when I post future videos. And until next time, have a great day, stay frosty, and happy modeling.